Radhe Radhe everybody. How is everybody doing? So I today thought I'll start the story of Dhruva from central theme of Srimad Bhagavatam. The wonderful thing about this is, as I told you earlier, my current study is the third canto, first part from Swami Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam. And I also study from the Tamil version of Gita Press Srimad Bhagavatam. So what's going on is, like, when I finish a part, that's when I open up another part. I have the entire set. I've finished part Canto 1, Canto 2, Canto 3. First part is where I am, which I opened up. And Canto 3, second part had to be opened up because of what we did in this. And now I have the wonderful opportunity of opening up Canto 4 because of the fact that these three verses are in this. So this is Canto 4. It comes in two parts. Some of the cantos have two parts. Some of them have only one. And I don't know where the story of Dhruva falls. So we are going to open up part 1 on camera. And this is what I did last time, but it so happened it became a retake because of my phone. Something happened with my phone. Now I'm going to open up 4.1 right in front of you, and I have immense joy in doing it. As much as I don't want to do this, only because I haven't started the study, opening up this beautiful Bhagavatam for my favorite story in Bhagavatam gives me immense pleasure. Okay, so part 1. Let's see if part 1 has story of Dhruva. Description and descendants of Dhruva Maharaja. Leaves home for the forest. So yes, this is where it is. Now 4th canto, 9th chapter, 4th verse is where we are going to stop and put a tab on there. 4th canto, 9th chapter. So chapter 3, chapter 4. The paper, I'm telling you, when I turn these pages, this paper quality is so good, so good. I'm so happy I bought this. This is an investment for sure. So 9th chapter, 4th verse, if I'm right, 4th verse. Let me see. Okay, text 3 and text 4. So what we're going to do, tab this page, because we know for a fact this is important. And I think even 5 is included in this chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam, central theme of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Now let's go back to this. Chapter 8, the story of Dhruva. Then there is this touching story of Dhruva in the 8th chapter of the 4th book. Dhruva is the son of King Uttanapada through his wife Suniti. Uttanapada had another wife named Suruchi. She was his favorite wife, so naturally her son Uttama was very dear to him. One day, a 5-year-old boy Dhruva noticed that his father was fondling his brother Uttama, who was sitting on his lap. Like he was giving him love, hugs. So he too went to sit on the lap of his father. Suruchi saw that, and this got angry. She reproached Dhruva, saying that he had no right to sit on the lap of his father. Were you born of my womb? Then only you could sit on your father's lap. Dhruva was very upset. He went to his mother Suniti and started crying. Suniti said, "What can I do, my son? I am really helpless. Pray to God. He is the only true refuge and friend of the helpless. Only He can help you. Internally wounded by his father's neglect, Dhruva, a child of 5, went into the forest to meditate on Hari, the Lord. On the way, he met Narada, who first tried to dissuade him from the risky venture and advised him to return. Narada told him, "You are a Kshatriya boy. Why are you here? It is a disgrace for you to be here." However, Dhruva was firm. He said he must go to worship the divine. At this, Narada was impressed by the child's determination and told his bold Kshatriya spirit. He blessed the child with the divine mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya and gave him instructions on how to meditate. Dhruva meditated on God as instructed. After 6 months of meditation and hard life, the indwelling God of all, Sri Hari, appeared in front of Dhruva, who, however, was then experiencing him in his heart with his eyes still closed. He was seeing the Lord within, but the Lord was already standing in front of him. What did the Lord do? He disappeared from his heart, and as soon as he disappeared from his heart, Dhruva opened his eyes and saw with immense joy, smiling and blissful Lord in front. The boy wanted to praise him, but he was a mere child of 5. In spite of all efforts, he could not express his joyous feelings of devotion in words. He had no command over language and did not know how to praise the Lord. He only stood with folded hands. Seeing this predicament of his devotee, the Lord touched Dhruva's cheek with his divine instrument, the conch, the symbol of knowledge, Brahmanyaya Kambuna, says the verse. It's hard to read from this one, so I'm going to read from this. Satam vivakshantam atam vidam harir jnatvasya sarvasya cha hridi avastitaha kritanjalim brahma mayena kambuna pasparsha balam kripaya kapole. Although Dhruva Maharaja was a small boy, he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in suitable language. But because he was inexperienced, he could not adjust himself immediately. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, could understand Dhruva Maharaja's awkward position. Out of his causeless mercy, he touched his conch shell to the forehead of Dhruva Maharaja, who stood before him with folded hands. Let's see what Swami Ranganathananda says. Dhruva was standing in front of Hari with folded hands and struggling to burst out in hymn of praise, but he was not knowing how to do it. Hari, ever residing in the hearts of all, knowing the problem being faced by the child, out of compassion, touched the cheek of the child with his Brahmanya conch. Now the next one is the 5th verse, which we will read from here. Savai tadaiva pratipaditam giram daivim parijnata paratma nirnayaha tam bhakti bhavo bhya granat asatvaram parishrutoru sravasham dhruvakshitihi. Now, the 5th verse says, at that time Dhruva Maharaja became perfectly aware of Vedic conclusion and understand Vedic conclusion is Vedanta and understood the absolute truth and his relationship with all living entities. In accordance with the line of devotional service to the Supreme Lord, whose fame is widespread, Dhruva, who in the future would receive a planet which would never be annihilated, even during the time of dissolution, offered his deliberate and conclusive prayers. The one who was to achieve in future an immutable status, that Dhruva, by the touch of conch, became filled with divine knowledge of the nature of Brahman and Jiva and began to sing fearlessly and filled with devotion the hymn of praise of the highest and world famous Hari. This is a famous shloka. This is beautiful. If you are able to just memorize this one out of the entire Bhagavatam, it is fruitful. It is knowing the essence of Bhagavatam. This is a wonderful shloka. Dhruva Uvacha. I'm going to read the shloka because the next one is that. So, after being touched with the conch shell on the forehead, he becomes divinely knowledgeable. He attains jnana and he's able to sing. At that time, there were no words for him to sing his praise, and now he is able to sing. And he also understood the essence of Vedanta, what is Jiva and what is Parabrahman, and its relationship between the two. So now he is going to say what it is. Dhruva uvacha yonta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam sanjeevayat akhila shakti dharasvadhamna anyamscha hasta charana shravanatvagadin pranam namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. So this is a beautiful, beautiful verse. As I said, if you are able to memorize this, contemplate this, just read this every day out of Bhagavatam. If you're not able to do much, this is going to be extremely helpful for your spiritual path. O thou all-powerful one, you alone entering my mind and through your energy have enlivened my sleeping speech power and also given power to my hands, feet, ears, skin and other sense organs and bioenergies. I salute you, O blessed self of all. That's what Swami Ranganathananda's meaning is. Let's see what Swami Prabhupada has to say. Dhruva Maharaja said, my dear Lord, you are all powerful. After entering within me, you have enlivened all my sleeping senses, my hands, legs, ears, touch, sensation, life force, and especially my power of speech. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Now, if those of you, I'm just addressing this, if you have questions about whether I should go for Prabhupada's purport or Prabhupada's Bhagavatam because it might have this and that and Dvaita and Advaita. If you just look at the meaning what I read for this verse, Yonta Pravishya Mama Vacham Imam Prasuptam, this thing that I read and Prabhupada's commentary, the meaning is intact. If you see, both of them had the animating of the sleeping senses, especially his Vakshakti, which is Vacham. So he could speak only because of Lord, and this is the essence. If you read the purport, there may be other things, but if you really want to know the meaning of the entire Bhagavatam, again, I'm telling you, this is a good thing to invest on. I don't know, I just felt like saying that. So Dhruva here says, what animates me is the consciousness that I've come to know. Otherwise, what would make one speak like this? I'm a 5-year-old boy. I'm looking at Paratattva, which is beyond words, right? I'm able to say something about it. Just that fact that I'm able to say something about it is a conclusive, evidence that what enlivens or animates everything, my hands, my feet, and if you just look at his point of view, it's just his hands and his feet and his speech, but look at world, how animated and how lively it is. What makes it lively? And this question that we keep on pondering upon is that somebody is here, they're speaking, and the next, we see that they're dead or they're gone. What has actually left? That is the question that is to be pondered upon. Because if we identified ourselves as body, we would have identified that person as the body also. And we keep on thinking that, my mother has left, my father has left. But what actually left? Is it that body? Because the body didn't leave, the body was left behind and we didn't have any use for it. What left was the consciousness that enlivened it. And that is very much Paramatma himself. It is his part and parcel, is what this verse gives us. And this is something that is just an essence, like there in everything, there is a Chatushloki Bhagavatam, there is like Chatushloki Ramayana, there are 5 important verses of Ramayana which summarizes Ramayana. There are so many like that. Sundarakandam, you have 5 slokas that would just summarize all Sundarakandam. Things like that. So some of us, we are very busy, right? Every day we cannot read slokas from Bhagavatam. Even if it's one, we are not able to do it every day. Sometimes when we get time, we touch it. In that case, this is one shloka that can be recited every day. Every day. So that would give you the essence of what consciousness is. What is its relationship with ourselves and the entire world, for example. What enlivens the world is what Paramatma is. So the Bhagavatam says, Kritanjalim Brahmayena Kambuna Pasparsha Balam Kripaya Kapole Hari, out of grace, touched his cheek with his conch called Brahmaya and the symbol of knowledge. Immediately, tremendous knowledge flashed in Dhruva's mind and he started praising the Lord wonderfully. This is the story of Dhruva. What we know as the pole star, because Dhruva Nakshatra, we say it's a pole star, which is stationary. It's associated with this young boy Dhruva. Therefore, we call it Dhruva Nakshatra. The Lord gave Dhruva the highest station of Dhruva Nakshatra. So, what he achieved out of that penance is that he is going to shine as a star in this galaxy forever and ever, and that was God's gift to him, and that was his devotions prize, so to speak. And this 5-year-old boy who could just contemplate on his mother's words and do something about it actually motivates me. For me, this chapter and Dhruva's story itself is an amazing motivation. If there is something that bothers you, sitting on your father's lap and father's acknowledgement may seem trivial for someone walking spiritual life. We all say we are walking spiritual life, right? We're walking the path of spirituality, but most of what bothers us is very trivial, and in terms of in context of spiritual life. So usually when we say, oh, somebody who wants the acknowledgement from Lord, why would somebody wait for these things? Hurt us. These are real things. This struggle is real, and the pain that we feel also seems real. And then comes the question. So he questioned her as to what to do about it, and the mother said, go to God, which turned out to be the best advice this boy could ever get. And of course, he took it seriously. We all say we turn to God, but he took it seriously. He did tremendous penance without eating, without drinking. He gave up everything, and that's when Lord came up. 5-year-old boy, not drinking water, not eating food, not sleeping. That's going to bring Lord right away. And Lord appeared in front of him, and still he was in that meditative mode where he was going internal and he was realizing God within himself. Right? This is the highest status in spiritual realization, seeing God within, and then he also appeared without. So that is the Vijnana Tantra, like Vijnana position of Swami Ramakrishna Paramahams, where you see God within and without. You see God with eyes closed. Swami Vivekananda, always pushes this. You see God with eyes closed and also with eyes open. Eyes closed is actually pretty easy if you just compare, because eyes open, that's when tough. You have to see God in an annoying co-worker, and an annoying relative, an annoying neighbor, and these things are real struggles for some that are living in this relative world. So Dhruva's story is an amazing motivation to keep at it, to keep on calling on Lord for matters that are trivial and profound in my mind. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll meet you soon with another one. Radhe Radhe.